and welcome. My name is Jocelyn and today we are talking about my beauty budget for the year of 2019. You could also call this a low buy. I'll probably include low buy somehow, somewhere in the title because this is a low buy, especially compared to what I spent last year. I did do a massive calculation of everything that I spent last year at Sephora, at Ulta, at other online only retailers. Put all of those together and have a video coming up of all of that information. While I was doing that, I really thought to myself, I should go on a low buy, come up with some rules for myself for the year of 2019. Now, I don't feel like I have an excessive spending problem, especially the last half of last year. I did pretty good about not buying things that I didn't need, only buying replacement things and just kind of reining myself in. However, I still spent a lot last year and there were definitely places that I could improve. So I came up with a list of rules for myself for my spending habits on makeup for the year of 2019 and I thought I would share them with you today. I am going to be making updates every month, I think, of things that I bring into my collection, how my low buy, my beauty budget is going. So if by the end of this video you decide that you want to follow along on this journey with me, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss my updates. Also, I do lots of project pan type videos. I do decluttering videos, which are coming up soon. Technically, my low buy has already started as of the beginning of the year. It is now January 23rd, I think, is the day that I'm filming this, which is Wednesday, and then I want to have this up on Friday. But again, technically my low buy already started because we are well into 2019. So what does my low buy look like? What does my beauty budget look like? Again, like I just said, I looked through almost all of my purchases last year. There might have been a couple things that I left out that I just didn't think about, but everything at Ulta, everything at Sephora, ColourPop, and the couple of other indie related things that I purchased last year, and really decided what I wanted my numbers to look like this year. And based on that, this is what I came up with. I have all of my rules written on this ugly orange notepad. Let's get started. So of course, like almost every single low buy and I think no buy, I am allowed to buy replacements. So categories that include replacements are brow products, mascaras, eyeshadow primer, foundation if I run out of my foundations. Most of those categories except foundations, but the other three categories, eyebrow products, mascaras, and eye primer, I only really have one or a couple of. So I expect to probably run out by the end of the year and have to purchase something else. Foundations, I do have a handful of them, but I am working through a lot of them this year in project pans and am almost out of some of my favorite ones. So I expect that potentially I might run out of foundation this year and have to purchase one or two of them. I like to have maybe three. Maybe there's three foundation types that I like to have. I like to have my everyday, comfortable, not too full coverage, but medium coverage foundation, which right now for me is the Fenty foundation. I like to have a heavier foundation, which just covers a little bit more, lasts a little bit longer, but can get a little more heavy on the skin, which right now for me is the Cover FX foundation, the Power Play foundation. And then third, I like to have a foundation for the summertime that's lighter coverage, that is a healthier glow type of foundation that I can wear when I'm out and about. In the summertime, I just feel like I don't want as much on the skin. I want something that's a little more moisturizing, a little more lighter, and a little less full coverage. Right now, I don't have the perfect foundation for that. I am using the Tarte. It's a Tarte foundation in a pot. I don't know what it's called. I guess maybe 4 foundations is what is like a almost perfect number for me. So one of each in those categories and then one new one that I'm testing. So all of that to say that if I run out of another category outside of mascara, brow products, and eye primer, if I run out of something that I use every day, I'm allowed to repurchase it with no regrets. Also, while we're talking about replacing products, things that are not included really in this low buy because I don't have a problem with them at all. Hair care items and body care items. I only buy shampoo and conditioner when I run out and need more shampoo and conditioner. I only buy body wash when I need body wash. Shaving cream when I need shaving cream. In terms of skincare, I do pretty good about only keeping about one of each thing. The only category that I'm including rules about in terms of replacement are face masks. I did for a while go a little crazy with face masks and got way too many of them. I have been working through those though, basically all of last year and I think some of 2017 too. I included them in project pans to get them used up. I want to say I have a much better handle on my face masks. I don't really remember the last time I purchased one. I actually don't know because I'm thinking about all of the purchases I made last year and I don't think I purchased a face mask last year now that oh, except at Lush. I did purchase some face masks at Lush, but maybe only like one. That is a place that I didn't include in my what I spent last year. There's no way to track Lush shopping online. This year though, I do want to keep track of all of the things that I purchased at Lush because I can tend to go a little bit crazy at Lush, but fortunately their products aren't too crazy expensive, but that is an area that I will be tracking this year. So in terms of face masks, I don't want to purchase more than 3 this year. I do love using face masks. I use them all of the time, normally about 2 times a week, sometimes more than that. Like I said earlier, I do have a fair few in my collection right now, so my goal is to only purchase 3 of them this year. There's my first actual limitation for you is I don't want to purchase more than 3 this year, and I can only purchase 1 if I use 1 up. But also, I don't have to purchase 3. So if I don't find a face mask I want, if I don't have a need in my face mask collection that needs to be filled, I'm not gonna go purchase one just for the sake of purchasing one. So I can purchase up to 3, but I don't have to purchase up to 3. All right, so next let's talk about palettes. Another thing that I did when I was looking at all of the places that I spent money on last year was I counted up how many palettes I bought, how many lipsticks I bought, how many single shadows I bought. Those were kind of the largest categories of things that I purchased last year, so I wanted to know how many I bought. And I'm not gonna tell you how many palettes I bought in this video because I wanna save that for that video, but that did give me an idea of what I wanted my number to look like this year. And I thought about dropping this number down lower. However, another goal of mine this year is to try more indie brands. I have been seeing so many amazing indie brands circulating around the YouTube space, the Instagram space, and it made me really interested in trying more indie brands. I really don't have that many in my collection, and that's another thing. When I was going through what I purchased last year, I bought so many things from mainstream brands when I could have been spending that money on these indie brands that really could use my dollar, probably more than Hourglass and Tarte and all these brands that I love using, but I would like to potentially put my dollar towards these other brands. I want to make sure that I give myself the opportunity to buy palettes from indie brands. So I am allowing myself to purchase 6 palettes this year. That is definitely a lot less than what I purchased last year. However, last year I think I purchased almost exclusively mainstream palettes. So this year, out of my 6 palettes, I can only purchase 2 mainstream palettes. I don't have to purchase 2. If I purchase 5 indie brand palettes and 1 mainstream palette, that's fine, but I only can buy 2 mainstream palettes. So for example, some brands that I might keep my eye on for their releases include Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love her eyeshadow palettes. I bought the Norvina palette last year and absolutely loved it. I didn't buy the other 2. I think Sultry came out last year and Soft Glam. Soft Glam was the other one, I almost forgot. I didn't buy those 2, but I did buy Norvina. Urban Decay sometimes comes out with really amazing palettes. They'll be a brand that I have my eye on. Sometimes Tarte comes out with really great palettes that I have interest in. I haven't decided if I want to include ColourPop in an indie brand category or mainstream category. If I'm being honest with myself, which I should be honest with myself, they are a mainstream brand nowadays. They are sold in Ulta. They are sold a little bit in Sephora. They are freaking everywhere. They took up, I think, 2 or 3 of my palettes last year that I bought. I bought the Zodiac palette, Give It To Me Straight, and It's a Princess Thing. 3 palettes right there, which 3 out of 6 would have been half of my palettes that I would buy this year. So I think I need to include them in my mainstream category, which means maybe I should reserve those 2 spots, one for ColourPop and then one for ABH if she comes out with something this year, because I mean this last year she came out with at least 3 that I can remember. So 6 palettes, 2 of which can be mainstream, the other 4 have to be indie, and again, I don't have to buy a 6th if I don't find any palettes that I want to own. These are just the maximum numbers, so that would give me the option to buy one every other month, which I feel pretty comfortable with, and again, it's much less than what I bought last year, so I feel like it's a very fair number, and it allows me to buy and look for palettes in the indie market. I hope that 4 won't be not enough, because there's definitely quite a few indie brands out there that I've had my eye on, but there's always 2020, and if it's worth it, then it's worth the wait. So 6 palettes, there you go. There's my next condition for myself. Now, outside of palettes, I am allowing myself 3 extraneous, is that the right word? 3 non-replacement, non-essential purchases every month. Now, that might seem excessive, but when I compared what 3 products a month looked like over the course of the year with how many separate items I bought last year, it's a lot less. I still want the opportunity to try new things. My goal is to spend less money than I spent last year, and by cutting my purchases in like half, I'm going to be spending less money than I did last year. That's just the reality of it. My goal isn't to minimize my collection. My goal is to only bring things into my collection that I've thought long and hard about, that I think are going to add value to my collection, that I think are going to be interesting to share with my audience, and I think 3 is a good number. My 6 palettes are included in those 3 products. So if I was ordering from an indie brand, for example, I could buy a palette and 2 lipsticks. And that's kind of where my mind went with that, was that I wanted the opportunity to purchase from these brands other things that they had to offer. There's areas in my collection that could use expanding if I found a brand that I wanted to try out. So 3 extraneous, that might still be the wrong word, products a month. That includes the palette. Now, these 3 things, they can be rolled over. So for example, I haven't bought anything this month, not a single piece of makeup. If I last the rest of January without buying anything, those 3 products roll into next month, and I can now buy 6 products if I want to. But again, I don't have to if I don't want to. I feel like if I made it so that if I didn't buy anything, I lost it, I would feel the need to buy something just so I wouldn't lose those 3 items, you know? I feel like that's pretty fair. It'll allow me to really think about things. So if I have an idea in my head and I want these 4 things, for example, from this company, then I have to sit on those 4 things until the following month to be able to buy them. So I can't borrow from the next month, you know? I can't buy 4 things this month and then only 2 things next month. I have to save my items until the next month. So further along with this is another kind of rule I made for myself. A lot of indie brands have single shadows that you can buy, and if I want to try single shadows from a brand, I don't want to have to only be able to buy 3. That doesn't quite make sense to me. That would be my only 3 products for the month, is 3 individual eyeshadows. Maybe this is kind of depending on the price, but the number that I came up with is if I bought 10 single shadows from a brand, that would count as 1 product, because 10 makes a decently well-rounded palette. That's kind of how my mind thought of it. So if I wanted to buy single shadows from a brand, 10 of those pans counted as 1. All right, so more things just to touch on. Another goal of mine is to look for less expensive skincare and hair care items. Right now I use pretty high-end things on both of those spectrums, and I would like to try new things. The only problem with that is that if I buy a replacement, so say I buy a replacement shampoo and conditioner for my curly hair days and then end up hating it, I either have to return it if they allow returns, or use it up and use something I hate. There's that, but that is a goal of mine. There's a lot of things that I don't think I'm gonna be able to find replacements for. Like, I use Drunk Elephant because it works so well for me. I've never found something that works as well as the Drunk Elephant, the Seafoam a Day Serum, the Glycolic Night Serum, and the Baby Facial, what is it called? AHA and BHA. It's the Baby Facial Resurfacing Mask. I only purchase those twice a year and they last me 6 months each, so that works pretty well. But there's other categories that I'm sure I could save some money in. Like I use a cleansing balm every day. I use an eye makeup remover oil every day. I use different moisturizers and oils. That's just kind of a goal that I have in mind, is to look for less expensive, cruelty-free alternatives to those. I mean, all of the brands that I use right now in my bathroom are cruelty-free, but to look for less expensive cruelty-free versions. Also, another couple things to note is that gifts don't count towards my 3 products or my 6 palettes. These are only things that I buy. I'm trying to minimize the amount of money I spend, so gifts don't count, gift card purchases don't count, and PR doesn't count. Now, I really don't get PR right now. The only thing that I get is Octoly sometimes, and even that I have to pick and choose what I want to be sent, which is very helpful. But I want to make sure that I'm only picking and choosing things that I think will add value to my collection, that I actually really want to try, that I would buy potentially on my own if I could. When I'm ordering PR, I want to do my research on the company, make sure it's a company I feel comfortable and good about promoting on my channel, and I want to make sure that the actual product itself is something that I think would work for me, that I think I would like, that I think I would buy on my own. That's the goal with PR. Again, it doesn't count towards my 3 products because it's free. I'm not spending my money on it. And getting that kind of PR will be good for my channel, because if I'm not buying as much, I'm not having as much to haul or share, I could still have some things coming in through some other source that I can review and share on my channel. Those are all of my conditions, all of my rules, all of my allowances for my beauty budget for the year of 2019 for my low buy. Oh, and I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, no, this is inspired by Hannah Louise Poston. I think that's how you say her name. She did an incredible no buy for the entire year of 2018. She has some amazing videos on her channel. I will make sure to link her down below. But this is inspired, of course, by her entire series. She is an amazing inspiration, and the way she talks about how her life has changed since her no buy is great. I'm definitely not doing a no buy this year. It's not even probably close to some people's low buys who are only buying like 1 product a month or who are only buying replacement products. Mine is catered to myself, and I feel good about the rules that I've outlined for myself. I think it's important to cater these kind of projects to whatever will work for you and not against you. Last year I tried to do a low buy for I think 3 months and it failed miserably. I think I was a little too strict on myself and wasn't realistic with myself. So feeling pretty good about this. Again, I will have updates, I believe monthly, talking about the things that I bought, the decisions that I made, why I made those decisions, that kind of thing, so I can share them with you, maybe give you some inspiration or thoughts to think about. If you're doing a low buy or a no buy, please let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what your rules for yourself are. I am very interested to know. Let me share in this journey with you. If you want to subscribe to follow along with my updates, don't forget to do so before you go. Also, I will be filming and uploading the what I spent on makeup in the year of 2018 pretty soon, so if you want to catch that, also don't forget to subscribe. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so I know. All buttons are down below, and I think that's everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.